So, are humanity's best days ahead of us or behind us? It's one of those big questions, right? It pits hard, cold data against, well, human nature. And how you answer it, that says a lot about how you see the world. Today, we're going to break down the hidden system that's really driving this whole argument.
Okay, so this one idea, it's the key to the whole thing. A civilization can get richer, safer, way more advanced, but that doesn't mean it's gotten any more emotionally mature. I mean, think about it. We've got smartphones in our pockets and we're sending rovers to Mars, but have we really outgrown our most basic human flaws? That gap right there between our tech power and our, let's call it, psychological wisdom, that's the tension we're jumping into.
So, you see, when we ask if humanity's best days are still to come, what are we actually measuring? This isn't just about being a glass half full or glass half empty kind of person. It's about the tools themselves. What's on our scorecard for humanity? And maybe even more important, what are we forgetting to count?
All right, so for this explainer, we're diving into the 2015 Munk Debate. It was this classic clash. You had the optimists, Steven Pinker and Matt Ridley, on one side, and on the other, you had the skeptics, Alain de Botton and Malcolm Gladwell. Man, it was just this perfect collision of two completely different ways of looking at the world. And at the absolute heart of their disagreement is this system we use to measure progress. It's a modern way of looking at things, and it's built on stuff we can actually count, right? Things like life expectancy, income, violence rates, new technologies. This is the foundation, the bedrock of the entire argument for the optimists. Okay, let's start with their side of the story, the case for optimism. And you got to admit, on the surface, it's a really compelling argument. They basically say, look, forget the 24/7 news cycle for a second. If you just zoom out and look at the long-term data, the story of humanity is one of just staggering improvement. So Steven Pinker, he's the one who really lays out the data. And it's pretty wild. I mean, just a century and a half ago, the average person lived to be about 30 years old. Today, that number is over 70 globally. We've literally eradicated diseases from the planet. So his data just piles up. We're safer, we're wealthier, we're more educated than ever before. The trend lines, he argues, are just undeniable. Then Matt Ridley comes in and adds this really powerful why to the whole thing. He says progress isn't just happening, it's speeding up. It's accelerating. And the reason is that for the first time ever, ideas can, as he puts it, meet and mate on a global scale. It's like this massive engine of innovation that's always on, constantly cranking out solutions to our problems. Okay, so if the numbers are all pointing up, if the data is so positive, why are we even having this debate, right? Why doesn't everyone feel this amazing progress in their bones every single day? Well, it's because the other side argues we're measuring the wrong stuff entirely. Their whole point is that all those external gains, they don't do a thing to change the core, messy, and let's be honest, difficult reality of just being a person. And Alain de Botton, he just cuts right to the chase with this amazing metaphor. He says that at the top of our spinal cords, we all have a faulty walnut, basically a brain that's hardwired for irrationality, for envy, for all kinds of foolishness. And his point is, no amount of tech, no fancy new app is ever going to fix that fundamental hardware. So here's where you can really see the two arguments side by side. On one hand, you've got the optimists pointing to technology, medicine, all these external gains. On the other hand, the skeptics are pointing to our internal world, our psychology that just doesn't seem to change. So yeah, we have more wealth, but our expectations just keep growing, right? We have more safety, but we still grapple with the same old moral dilemmas. That's the disconnect. And then Malcolm Gladwell throws in this really important warning. He says, hey, hold on a second. Progress isn't some one-way ticket to paradise. Every single technological leap we make, whether it's nuclear power back then or AI today, it also hands us terrifyingly powerful new ways to mess things up, to create a catastrophe. The risks, he says, grow right in lockstep with the rewards.
So what do we do with this? We've got two arguments, and they both kind of feel true, don't they? Okay, to get a handle on this, let's use a metaphor. I think it'll make the structure of the problem way clearer. I want you to imagine that the way we measure progress today is like the dashboard in your car. It gives you really important info, right? Your speed, how much gas you have left, if the engine's overheating. And look, those numbers are real. They're objective. You need to pay attention to them. But they're not the whole story of your trip, are they? So on one side, you have what the dashboard measures. That's all of Pinker's data, lifespan, income, peace, all that good stuff. But on the other side, that's everything the dashboard can't tell you. It can't measure the wisdom of the person behind the wheel, it can't tell you their state of mind, or if they're about to do something incredibly stupid. The skeptics are basically screaming that we're all staring at the gauges while the driver is falling asleep. And right there, that is the crisis in perception. It's this huge mistake we make when we assume that just because the numbers on the dashboard look great, the trip is going to be fine. It's when we mistake that one partial, measured view of the world for the whole picture. You know, this whole dashboard metaphor, it also does a really good job of explaining why this debate just never seems to end, why we can never seem to settle it. Okay, it really boils down to 3 steps. First, our institutions, I'm talking economics, science, the media, they're all built to reward the stuff the dashboard measures. That's what gets the funding, that's what makes the headlines. But second, our actual lived human experience, that's all about the stuff the dashboard leaves out. Our relationships, our anxieties, our search for meaning. And so third, you get this permanent tension, this gap between the progress we can report and the reality we actually feel.
So where does that leave us? Well, the big takeaway is that, weirdly enough, both sides can be right. It's totally possible that humanity is making unbelievable, measurable progress inside the systems we've built to measure it. And at the exact same time, we could still be just as fragile, just as foolish, and just as vulnerable as we've always been. According to the dashboard, our best days might be just around the corner. But the person driving the car, well, that remains a very, very open question.
Crisis in Perception examines how systems shape belief and how better tools help us see clearly. This project is free and publicly accessible. If you'd like to support the time, tools, and research behind Crisis in Perception, you can become a supporter on Patreon. For a longer audio-based analysis of this topic, see the deep dive linked in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.